Peace be upon you. So, always good to be reminded that the path is the path of unconditional love. For those that find it very challenging to understand that there's a God and there's suffering, then this might be a lot easier. The Buddha's presentation is that there's no divine person administrating justice. It's just the way things are. Law. If you put your hand in fire, you get burnt. There's nothing to do with any kind of punishment. Like at the root of this practice is fear and love, shame and blame. Why do I suffer? Or why? It's a very core question for every human being that walks the earth. Why have I experienced so many things that are traumatic? And this feeling of blaming ourselves, and this kind of very difficult, incorrect way that the ego works, that puts itself down, doesn't really understand how things are. When someone's traumatized, the ego can get trapped very much in the state of mind that it should have progressed through with love. And it gets held in that space. Because the ego is essentially a person, like an individual over here that feels fear. And instead of whereas the path of truth is just going deeper and deeper into unconditional love. So much so that there's no sense of any need of holding on to the idea of a person. Like what Jesus taught, you're just totally and utterly protected and at one with a divine phenomenon. So if we're doing these meditations and they bring up some kind of traumatic, I'm bad, then it's one, you can stop there if you want. And if the meditation's bringing up such a profound sense of that, then that needs to be looked at. Very much so. Yeah, it's like trauma. There's no blame in karma. And the actions that we're experiencing are from a previous life, probably. And this meditation is very challenging. I don't know how much you do, because we haven't done it much. Maybe you just talk about it more. And the first section in Joyful Path, you don't actually get to the meditation. It's trying to gain conviction that pain exists. And pain can exist in the future, and we can go there. It's got nothing to do whether you're a good or a bad person. So if it really comes up like I'm bad, and or I'm being punished for my karma, it's a misunderstanding. It can take a long time to kind of understand it, to contemplate. So this meditation is very challenging. It's good. It's good to be challenged. We also remember that Buddha said, don't believe anything I said. It's very important now, when we do the meditation like this, you don't believe it. He's not joking. He's not being politically correct. Some people do say that to be politically correct, and they don't like it when you challenge them. We're trying to investigate, is it true? Is that true? And we're really thinking things through. One of the things we can contemplate is the people who teach this. Are they fear-mongering nihilists? Or are they very compassionate, loving people? So just There is a good analogy somewhere, which I've forgotten, but when speaking to Rahima just before, if your daughter, or your son, or your mother is driving in the mist, and they're about to drive off a cliff, and you tell them, and you know it's going to make them afraid, do you not tell them? Because you're worried that you are making them afraid. The person that tells someone they're heading towards danger and is not worried that they might fall out with you, but they're pointing out to you, you're heading to danger. That's someone who's close to you and loves you. The other person may not feel they're close enough to point out to you, you are heading to danger. We have to be convinced that danger exists, which essentially is understanding that the consciousness continues when you die. Now, if that's like you really kind of understand that we are travelers bound for future worlds. If you had an abusive father who just abuses you, yeah, and as you watch them dying, they're experiencing visions of pain and suffering and burning. Where do you think their consciousness is going? Where do you think Adolf Hitler is right now? His consciousness didn't go out of existence. Where is it? It's not in heaven. What appearances are arising from his actions? Was Adolf Hitler a bad person? Nope. Just misguided about the nature of reality. Is an abusive father a bad person? No. If they had a choice between being completely loving and enjoying their life or being miserable and abusive, who would pick being miserable and abusive? No one on this earth. No one on this earth would pick being an alcoholic. No one. Does it make them a bad person because they're an alcoholic? Of course not. They're just confused about how to live. They're incapable of overcoming their addictions. We're addicted. Worse than alcohol, we're addicted to anger, shame, low self-esteem, which is pride, desirous attachment, jealousy. We can't stop, even though we know that it's bad for us to think. We are not bad people. We are, in our nature, Buddhas. Yeah, that seed is there to be nurtured and loving. We need to contemplate these things, like we understand the background of this meditation. Even if we don't go into it, it's very challenging. But in the meditation handbook, Venerable Geshe says, the purpose of this meditation is to encourage us to seek protection from the dangers of lower rebirth. If we do not prepare for protection from lower rebirth now, while we have a human life, with its freedoms and endowments, once we have taken any of the 3 lower rebirths, it will be extremely difficult to obtain a precious human life again. It is said to be easier for human beings to attain enlightenment than it is for beings in the lower realms, such as animals, to attain a human rebirth. This meditation encourages us to abandon non-virtue, to practice virtue, and to go for refuge to the holy beings, which is the actual protection from taking lower rebirth. Creating non-virtue is the main cause of taking lower rebirth, whereas practicing virtue and going for refuge to the holy beings are the main causes of taking higher rebirth. And the object of meditation is after we've contemplated. Having repeatedly contemplated these points and understood how beings in the lower realms, such as animals, experience suffering, we generate a strong fear of taking rebirth in the lower realms. This feeling of fear is the object of our meditation. It's so non-New Age. We then hold this without forgetting it. Our mind should remain on this feeling of fear single-pointedly for as long as possible. If we lose the object of our meditation, we renew the feeling of fear by immediately remembering it or by repeating the contemplation. So, in Joyful Path, there is no point in meditating on the suffering in the lower realms if we do not believe that these unfortunate states actually exist and that we ourselves can experience them. Those who have pure faith in Buddhist teachings believe that rebirth exists because it was taught by Buddha. If we cannot gain conviction in this way, we need to meditate using further ways of reasoning. This is what we will contemplate on. So we won't probably get to the fear stage. But I was talking to Rahima before, it's like this feeling when you contemplate this meditation of helplessness, of fear. It's like, what happens then? It's like you feel small, hopeless, afraid that that's where you could go. Now what happens? Why do most people drink? Why do most people watch TV all day? Why do most people do the things they do? They're afraid. They're not experiencing unconditional love. They're experiencing some kind of fear that they won't have enough food, fear of they're going to be alone, and they turn. That turning to alcohol, that turning to food, that turning to entertainment, that is called refuge. These objects that we turn to do not remove our fear. All they do is put our head in the sand. People don't even want to hear about death. They just want to put their head in the sand. But if you hear about it, and then someone says, well, there's actually something you can do. You can actually turn the steering wheel around this way, and you won't go off the cliff. You're like, really? Yes. And if you really understand that, you go wah onto the steering wheel. If you really understand that you're going to drive off a cliff, you're not going to die, you're going to be crumpled, and you're going to get eaten alive by rats. And you go, nah, I don't believe you. Or you go, really? Yeah, really? Doesn't seem like a cliff. I haven't been a cliff for like the last hour. Then I've been driving in mist. I think I'll know where I'm going. And they're going, trust me, believe me, there's a cliff. You're going to get eaten by rats. If you really believe that, you'll go, shh. That's the function of the meditation, that you turn to that which will prevent you from ever taking lower rebirth again. That's one of the functions, is that I want to be human next life. I really want to be human. Yeah. And if you understand, how could a God who's loving make someone go to lower realms? He doesn't. It's just the law. And it's like, well, how do I stop it? You go practice virtue. Like you help people, you love people, you engage in right speech, right action, and you will not go down. You can't go down. You can't go down. It won't be up to God whether you take another human rebirth. You will take another human rebirth because you create the cause. It's like in our hands. The person who's driving off a cliff is not a bad person. They just might not trust you. They just don't know. They just don't know. Yeah, it's very important that you understand this, right? When we're doing this, contemplating this, the function. And on top of that, so that's just basic, okay? And then just for looking into the future. So on the Mahayana path, you contemplate that you're If you had an abusive father, that's where he is. He's not, just because they're dead, they're still alive. They're still in existence. And you want to help them. Then you contemplate how many people are in the lower realms, how many animals are there, how many insects. This generates, I must free them from this. Even the thought of it, we can't even bear to think about it. I'm amazed everyone's still here, it's so great. But generally, it's like, well, what are you doing with time? I'm making myself afraid. That's not trendy. These probably get shut down by like some kind of thing. You're not allowed to do that. You're not allowed to make someone feel bad, right? We can't bear it. Just even the thought. I don't want you to forget this as well. Maybe contemplate. What's it like when someone gets burned alive? Are they in hell or not? Now, we know that experience exists. People get burned alive. Have you ever dreamed it's happened? Or anything like that? Now, when we'll go into the contemplation that sleep and death are the same thing, we understand. You just imagine you fall asleep, you go into a hell realm, you're getting burned alive, but you don't wake up. Is it really that fantastical? You don't come back to the body. That's it. That's all. It's just an appearance to mind. But we know that these appearances to mind happen to people. Why? Why does it happen to them and not to me? Just karma. God doesn't like. There's not some guy, but I'm going to make you burn alive in your house tonight. These states exist, right? They exist. We know they exist. Anyone going to deny that people don't get burned alive? That state exists. And so I've been to hell. Yeah, when your consciousness is going to continue, and why might it not continue to there? You try and think, why is there any reason why that might not happen? Then you understand how many beings are there. Then you understand spirituality is not like a game where you just want to feel good. That might be the case earlier on. But as you go into the Mahayana path, this is your motivation for doing things, is to free people from these states. When we start going into dream yoga, you start doing it. Because you've got a subtle body and you can go into these states. And then when we get really advanced, we can prostrate from a distance. We pray to be reborn there. Geshe Chikara, that's where I want to, please let me go to hell so I can help people there. That's the type of mind that's teaching this. It's not some kind of nihilistic, you bad, like the most loving being. The Buddhas are so loving we can't even comprehend it. And we can be that loving. Part of being that loving is actually just comprehending that these states exist. This really opens our heart, especially knowing that if your parent is abusive to you, it's probably where they are. And that the seed of your parent who abused you was love. And if they had been taught this and practiced it, they would be Buddhas. They are not bad people. They're just unlucky. You could just say it like that. Whereas we're just lucky. The karma of a previous life just landed you Maybe your previous incarnation just spent a lot of time doing prostrations to the three jewels and you ended up getting the Dharma. And it's like, right, I've got to think of my future life, my future dreams, and I want my future self, my future dreams to be in the presence of Jesus Christ in the Garden of Eden, receiving holy Dharma. How are you going to do that? By generating virtuous minds. What prevents you from doing it? Lackadaisical thinking that you just like, that this, just going to go on forever and stuff. No, it's not like that. It's like, life is hard. Life is scary. We don't have a clue what's going on. We just kind of bumbling about for a bit. And the last meditation we had was death, right? We are going. Now it's where are we going? Are we going down? And so basically the Buddha is like presenting you with like, this is where you can go. You can become enlightened, you can become a human. There's also these realms. So just see what comes up. Don't believe anything. Don't believe anything I just said. Contemplate. What is reality? What is consciousness? Is my mind the brain? Is it really just the brain? If you really gain conviction that consciousness moves on, is that you tell me where that consciousness is going of the father who abused his son, and he's experiencing visions of fires and burning when he's dying. And you understand that people get burned alive, and you understand that when you dream, you can dream you're in hell. And try and refute that that they won't be in a hellish state. Also, these are like preludes, important preludes. Every single spiritual path I've ever come across, American Indians, shamanism, Sufism, Zen, Tibetan Buddhism, Christianity, all say hell exists. It's a bit of a coincidence. And they also describe them in the same levels, usually 7 or 9. That's a bit strange coincidence again. It's only kind of very recently people don't even think consciousness exists. I want you to contemplate. The people who tell you not to think about these things, they don't even believe that your consciousness exists. Very important to contemplate. Okay. Does anybody have any questions? Yanchan.
Pure lands or hell as being a state of our mind. So I could be sitting here, and if I'm practicing the Dharma and I'm really feeling connected, then this is my pure land. So if it's a state of mind, how can it be that we move into that it feels like a duality. If it's a place that's separate from my mind, like I could go there. You see what I mean?
I didn't hear the start of what you said,
So if from my mind she's the pure land or hell, so I could be sitting here in hell or in a pure land. And then just to add a bit, I sometimes read the Dharma books and it describes the Pure Lands with the beautiful snow-lined thrones and all those things. That then has created the causes and conditions for that to be in my mind. But still, it feels like a duality, like I could ever go there or hell when I'm here and I could be in heaven or hell. I'm a bit confused just as to it's an actual place.
Yeah, there's lots like philosophical debates on whether there's an external phenomena or it's just mind only. There's a mind only school of Buddhism. Karma manifests in different ways. So it's like the effect. We're experiencing the effects of karma now. Yeah. But those effects are creating new causes. So the effect is a cause as well. So the effect is that you're a human being thinking about the Dharma. That's an effect from a previous cause. And this effect that I'm a human being thinking about the Dharma is a cause creating another effect. So it's very much understanding that samsara is cyclic. Yeah, it's very difficult. Once you're in a negative cycle, it's very difficult to get out of it because the effect produces the cause, which produces the effect, which produces the cause. But it's also like, from one point of view, if you've got an angry mind, you're in hell. It's the Zen story of the master who provokes the samurai. He wants to know about heaven and hell, and he makes him angry and goes, that's hell. Then he makes him happy and goes, that's heaven. So when you've got a happy mind, you are in heaven. But it's also that's also creating the cause to experience your environmental karma as heavenly. Like your karma, your external karma now, that you're in your bedroom, you listen to the Dharma, it's good, right? It's nice, you're not experiencing suffering. No, there's no one throwing a brick through your window. Maybe if you're in the Gaza Strip, there might be a bomb going off. Broken glass might come through your environmental karma. That's all your mind. If you're going into non-duality, that's all just your consciousness. But we don't understand that. So even until we're awakened, which is very profound, right? Then we'll still experience heaven as outside of us. Like it's still like, it feels like a place that we're going to, and it's like, it's beautiful, and there's like the ground. I've been to Pure Land as well as hell. The Pure Land, when you touch it, like the ground's made of jewels, and it's bliss touching the ground. It's like, it's like my mind, but when it's happening, it's still like it's spontaneous presence appearing. The non-duality just understands all your consciousness, and you go into the absolute, which is shunyata, which is, we still can't kind of grasp that level of non-duality. So until we experience that, we want, when we reach higher bodhisattva levels, we want to be born in a Pure Land. And like, if we're a high level bodhisattva, we want to be born here because we can attain enlightenment easier because there's so much suffering. There are Pure Lands where we can still attain it. Is that making sense to you? It's something to contemplate, like deeply, like what are these spaces? What does it mean, like you're saying? So I'm just saying some answers to you, which you contemplate and think, what is enlightenment? What is this non-dual space? Because appearances are still going to arise. If this is an important one, it's like given a lot to humans. This liquid we call water appears as water. To gods, it appears as nectar. If you've taken acid, it appears as nectar. Yep, it changes its appearance. If you're an animal, it just probably still appears, I don't know, but it's like animal water. If you're a hungry spirit, apparently it appears as pus. It appears like pus. If you're helping, it feels like molten lava burning you. If you go into a room and some person's enjoying a pizza, another person, it's like makes them sick. What's appearing to their consciousness when they see a pizza is something horrible. Maybe you pick up a partner, you come into your bedroom, and it just puts them off you. It just appears horrible, like your room's horrible, like you got a horrible house. To someone else, it feels so beautiful. It's so beautiful. Where is it? It's a profound question. It's a profound. Where is it? What is that relationship between consciousness and this space we're sharing? So there are different levels of like understanding that hell is a state of mind, and also it's a place we can go to. You're in your bedroom tonight, you're just lying there on your bed, your child walks in and just goes, oh, mum's in bed. You're in a hell realm. Where is it? Let's say tonight you dream of you go to hell because we're doing this meditation. It's like, honestly, when I lived with Cashel, I went to hell almost every night. I mean, I experienced pure evil. That's something I remember it, I can still remember it. And it's just purifying the mind. It's just purifying the mind. Please see it like that if that happened. It's like purification. But where is it? It appeared externally to me like a place that I was in. But it's just my mind. This world appears like it's outside of you. The Buddha said it's not. Is that okay, Yanchin? Hopefully that's helpful for going to the meditation. We contemplate these things. And then we can talk again after, perhaps to this one. Let's begin the practice and let's see what happens.
My life is blessed with the path of the awakened ones, but death is coming. I do not know when this dreamlike life will end. I must awaken. I turn my heart to the only refuge and protection, the holy Dharma. With pure intent I fly towards spiritual freedom, self-affirmation. I go for refuge to God, out of the great perfection, pristine awareness. I go for refuge to wisdom and the precious path of love, bodhicitta. I go for refuge to the awakened beings who reveal the truth, the holy Sangha. Lord Jesus Christ, Muhammad, peace be upon him, Lord Buddha. I go for refuge to the Sufis, Yogis and Yoginis, the lineage masters. I go for refuge to our spiritual friends and helpers, God's servants. I go for refuge to my root guru appearing as Padmasambhava. Come here before me to bless my heart and open me to thee, divine union. Please bless my heart to have the true intention of bodhicitta. Please bless me with the courage to walk the bodhisattva's path. May I awaken to benefit all living beings. May I awaken to benefit all living beings. to benefit all living here.
Sen chogi nudrup yi pema jangi Jesu dra kordo kandro mang perkor keki Jesu tak trup gi jangi lok chir seksu sol guru pema siri hong Orgeng yogi nyup jang san pema gesa dong pola yan sen chogi nudrup yi pema jangi Jesu dra kordo kandro mang perkor keki Jesu tak trup gi Jingi lop chir shek su sol guru pema siri hong
The path begins with strong reliance on my kind teacher, source of all good. Oh, bless me with this understanding to follow him with great devotion. This human life with all its freedoms extremely raw with so much meaning. Oh, bless me with this understanding all day and night to seize its essence. My body like a water bubble decays and dies so very quickly. After death come results of karma just like the shadow of a body. With this firm knowledge and remembrance bless me to be extremely cautious. Always avoiding harmful actions and gathering abundant virtue. Samsara's pleasures are deceptive, give no contentment, only torment. So please bless me to strive sincerely to gain the bliss of perfect freedom. Oh, bless me so that from this pure thought come mindfulness and greatest caution, to keep as my essential practice the doctrine's root, the pratimoksha. Just like myself, all my kind mothers are drowning in samsara's ocean. Oh, so that I may soon release them, bless me to train in bodhicitta. But I cannot become a Buddha by this alone without three ethics. So bless me with the strength to practice the bodhisattva's ordination. By pacifying my distractions and analyzing perfect meanings, bless me to quickly gain the union of special insight and quiescence. When I become a pure container through common paths, bless me to enter the essence practice of good fortune, the supreme vehicle Vajrayana. The two attainments both depend on my sacred vows and my commitments. Bless me to understand this clearly and keep them
cost of my life. By constant practice in 4 sessions a way, explained by holy teachers. Oh, bless me to gain both the stages which are the essence of the Tantras. May those who guide me on the good path and my companions all have long lives. Bless me to pacify completely all obstacles, outer and inner. May I always find perfect teachers and take delight in holy Dharma. Accomplish all grounds and pass swiftly and gain the state of Vajradhara.
Visualize from the heart of Guru Padmasambhava his realizations in the form of white light entering into you through your crown, pervading your body-mind, transforming your heart into absolute conviction of the continuation of consciousness. We bring to mind faith and confidence in our spiritual guide. Bring to mind that meditation. And we bring to mind how fortunate we are to have a precious human rebirth. We bring to mind that meditation. We transform our mind into gratitude. And we remember that this precious human life will end and that we are going to die. Bring to mind death awareness. And we bring to mind the next meditation, which essentially just now is, where am I going when I die? What will happen if I die with a negative state of mind? We need to contemplate the existence that such states are there. that consciousness can continue. Venerable Geshe says, one way is to investigate the opposite point of view held by many people today, and once held by a non-Buddhist school called Charvaka. According to this nihilist view, our death is like a candle flame going out. When we die, our body perishes and our mind ceases to exist. For the Charvakas, death is total extinction with no continuity. They deny rebirth because they cannot distinguish between gross and subtle levels of mind, and so they assume that all minds are gross minds that cease in death. It is true that gross minds, such as our ordinary waking consciousness, do cease temporarily at the time of death, but nihilists do not discern the most subtle level of mind that remains and continues into the next life. They conclude that all minds are gross minds that cease when we die. Buddhist schools teach that there are many levels of consciousness, gross levels of consciousness, subtle levels of consciousness, and the very subtle level of consciousness. When we are awake, our consciousness is very gross, but as we fall asleep, our consciousness becomes more and more subtle until the very subtle mind of clear light arises. After a while, from the clear light of sleep, the grosser minds of the dream state start to develop. When these cease, the very gross minds of the waking state manifest again. In a similar way, as we die, our gross minds absorb until the most subtle type of consciousness arises. At the last moment of the process of dying, the mind that remains is the very subtle mind that passes to the next life. After the cessation of the clear light of death, we develop the grosser minds of the bardo, or intermediate state, which is like the dream state. And out of the bardo, we develop the mind of our next life. The gradual absorption of the grosser levels of consciousness and their re-emergence occurs with every cycle of day and night as we fall asleep and reawaken, and it occurs with every cycle of death and rebirth as we pass out of one life and enter another. If we carefully examine the process of falling asleep and reawakening, we will understand how the various levels of consciousness absorb into the very subtle mind and then re-emerge. And we will see that there is no basis for the view that denies rebirth. We will realize that our mind is like a tourist that stays temporarily in the resort of this life and then moves on to other lives. Contemplate from your own experience the disappearance of all your friends, family, your room, your house, etc. when you fall asleep. Contemplate from your own experience the disappearance of your personality. Contemplate from your own experience the arising of a new being, a new person in a dream state. And try as much as you can with all your heart to prove Buddha wrong. If you cannot, you will come to the understanding and hold it. I'm going to be reborn. contemplate anything else that we talked about earlier on, and try to prove to yourself that you will not be reborn. Or try to gain conviction. Where am I going when I die? And we'll continue with this sadhana.
Guru Padma Siddhi Om Vaja Guru Padma Siddhi Om Vaja Guru Padma Siddhi Om Vaja Guru Padma Siddhi Vaja Guru Padma Siddhi Om Vaja Guru Padma Siddhi Om Vaja Guru Padma Siddhi Om Vaja Guru Padma Siddhi Vaja Guru Padma Siddhi Om Vaja Guru Padma Siddhi Om Vaja Guru Padma Siddhi Om Vaja Guru Padma Siddhi Vaja Guru Padma Siddhi Om Vaja Guru Padma Siddhi Siddhi Vaja Guru Padma 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 Siddhi Please remove all outer and inner obstacles. Grant the four empowerments and enter into my heart. At the time of my death, please take me into your heart. Bless me to be a true bodhisattva. Through my practice of Dharma, may all living beings awaken. May the precious supreme bodhicitta grow where it has not yet grown. Where it has grown, may it not decrease, but flourish forevermore. Bismillah Rahmani Rahim. Amen.
So forgive me, we've run over a little bit. And it should, so if you want to leave right now, please leave. If it's Friday night and you've got commitments. But during the meditation break, try to gain conviction that your consciousness is moving on. You can check out things like documentaries on near-life experiences, etc. Maintain that throughout the time. Where is my consciousness going when I die? Where is my consciousness going? And keep that in your mind. Okay, if anyone has to leave now, if anyone else has any questions about Rahima. Rahima, you got a question?
Sorry, I was just waving bye to Samaya.
Oh, right. Come on. Goodbye, Yellow Brick Road. So we won't spend long, just 5 minutes already, 8 minutes over in practice. If anyone's got something that some interesting stuff. Okay. Hakeem.
It's more just observations from the last 24 hours. I think just maybe from doing work that's takes up the mind so much, it's quite hard to keep being aware of death. But I found the last 24 hours as well, just there's no problems as well. When I wasn't busy, I was trying to take my mind to it. Yeah, I just wasn't sure if I was doing it correctly or not, I suppose is what I'm asking.
We're not, we can't use our mind like that all the time. So it's this sense of we generate a mind before we engage in an action. So it might be like an hour long. So if you were doing therapy, you might be with someone for an hour, 2 hours, until you're engaging in them totally, completely with them. But beforehand it's the intention. And then you engage in the action. But whilst you're engaging, be aware, right? You can be aware. You don't have to be like, I have to be thinking. The point of death awareness is to make you aware, to make you in a dharmic state of mind. Practice Dharma, right? I must practice Dharma, which is being present with someone and being engaged totally, not letting your mind become distracted, but essentially keeping your mind positive on love. Also, like making sure if you're in that time at work, nothing harsh comes out of your mouth, no slander, and etc. All the aspects of moral discipline, that your mind is pure, and that's you practicing Dharma. And then, we're aware if our mind goes, where our mind's going. Where's my mind going? That observation should be 24/7. You're just like always aware. Aware that you're enjoying yourself, you're aware. And then, but when they say that your hour and a half session's finished, as you say, you come out and you just reflect and go, oh, that was good, I did well. My mind only went down a few times. Right? Isn't it true? Like you're aware that your mind goes down and stuff. And then, if we're doing the cycle of Lam Rim, then you can remember death again. Go, right. And then you go back and do something else, like have your dinner. So it's like moving between things we have to engage in and with times we've got to contemplate. But it can be difficult. I say people who are accountants and they get into the Dharma, they really don't want to do it anymore because their mind is taken up with numbers. But it depends. But the main thing is the intention that we're going to, yeah?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it makes sense. Yeah. I had one other question as well. I think I asked you a while ago about, if you're having unpleasant or negativity in your mind, and then trying to replace it with lamb rim, but there's a sense maybe before I was suppressing thoughts with lamb rim. Um, is it more a sense if you are noticing negativity rather than just squashing it, it's like transforming it instead? Is that more the taste? Like you acknowledge that the pain or whatever is there, but instead of just damping it down, skillfully apply um, death awareness, for example.
I think a good way to understand negativity is you're no longer suffering it, and it no longer motivates your actions of body, speech, or mind. If you've got a damaged leg, it's kind of, if you've got pain in your leg, it's kind of prevalent in almost every experience. If you're walking, right? You walk with damaged leg before, it's like ow, 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 and like every now and again, I want to get home, right? Oh, yep. You can like have tremendous self-pity. You can get angry about your leg being in pain, and you can lash out on others. I want to get home. I want to get home. It's your fault. Or you can just go, the pain is there in your leg, and you can go, well, I might die today. It's not that bad. And you don't suffer it anymore because you think about death. Or you think of, well, what would it be like if, for someone else who's crippled, it's like, this is nothing. It's like, and it helps you to produce love, and you're like, oh, I don't want the pain to go away. It's turning my mind into love. Just do the same with internal negativities. It's like, and if you ignore the pain in your leg, it might get worse because you don't understand where it's come from. So if you've got negative states of mind, you're not trying to suppress them or get rid of them. You kind of want to understand why they're there. But the attitude towards them is what's transforming it, right? Now, there's two things that can happen. One, you're just comfortable with the negativity being there. Or two, by not suffering the negativity, it can go away. That make sense?
Yeah, that does. That's really helpful.
Okay, anyone else? Well, that would be enough. It's Friday night. Sorry to go on a bit longer, but I didn't want, you can't just go, right, let's meditate on hell. And you go, it's like, what's happening? We're leading into it, right? And we haven't done really teachings on this before. And the main thing is you have to understand that where are you going? But even when we're doing the prayer, the stages part starts to pop, right? It's like you understand what refuge actually starts to be. It's like, I go for help. It's like, you understand you're going to hell realm or something, it's help. That's where the refuge comes in. It's like, yeah. So thank you so much for your practice. So really sorry for going over. It won't happen in the other sessions because they don't need an intro. So have a beautiful Friday evening, and may your hearts be filled with love, peace, virtue, and may you transform the lives of those around you. God bless.